Hi everybody, welcome to LearnBassToday.com. My name is Casey, and today we are going to talk about the chromatic scale. A lot of people ask me, and I've heard in a lot of conversations between players, what do you think the most important scale is? And a lot of people basically say the major scale, or maybe they'll say the minor pentatonic scale, simply because that's a pattern they use all the time. And for them, that may be the case. For me, a lot of times, the chromatic scale is going to be one of the most important scales to learn. And the reason I say that is because it basically is all 12 notes that we use in Western music. And it's something that I learned by studying a lot of the things that Victor Wooten does and his teachings. And basically, there's a couple of techniques to use the chromatic scale that help open your ear immensely to wrong notes and right notes. And at some point you'll probably learn that there aren't any really wrong notes out there to play. There's just notes that you didn't expect to come out. So in using the chromatic scale, you can become comfortable with all of the notes and how they sound over a given change. Basically, you may ask, okay, well, what is the chromatic scale? Like I said, the chromatic scale contains all 12 notes in Western music in succession, one after another. There's a couple of ways to play the chromatic scale. Probably the most straightforward way, maybe not the most practical way, is to just play every single fret all the way up. So one way we would play that would be, say, on the E string, or starting wherever we're going to use the E string, would be notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and it starts over again at the 12th fret, which is the same as the open E. That's an octave. Now that's one way, and basically that's starting any random position, going up fret by fret. You're playing the chromatic scale. You can do it all in one string. The next one would be all in one position, starting with your open string. Basically starts off with the open E, and you're going to play up, and instead of going to the next fret A, you'd start on the open string A. So you same thing all the way up. That's another way, all in one position using open. You can also do it in, say, first position. Instead of using open strings, you can slide a finger up or down in either direction like this. And that works just about anywhere. And the other one that I tend to use too is I call it the moving backwards method. And that's basically, instead of moving your hand and staying in one position, each time you get to your last finger, you go up a string and back a fret. Jump up a fret, coming back down. So it's basically up, 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 and going back, you're just jumping back forward a fret, more towards the higher strings or higher notes in doing that. Basically, those are a couple of ways you can play the chromatic scale. Now, it's good to practice each one of those and get familiar with just hearing how it sounds. At any rate, it's good to get that sound in your head, because as you're listening to more music, you'll hear times when you hear the chromatic scale being used. So now you may be saying, that's fine and great, the chromatic scale, wow, it's got all the notes. Now, how would you actually practice using that to an effect of, making use of the chromatic scale? And one technique I found that really helps open your ear up is a technique I got from Victor Wooten, which is basically listen to the chromatic scale over, a chord. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to play a G. I've got my loop pedal set up, and it's just going to play a basic rock beat at 100 beats per minute. And it's going to be playing a G major. It's got drums and all of that. And we're going to play the chromatic scale, and we're just going to listen. And it's a technique that you may want to do. I'm going to include the track so that you can do this at home on the website here. And, just follow along and listen and see what each one sounds like. So here we go. It's kind of a hokey beat. I made it real quick. But for our purposes, it's just to get your ear familiar with it. So starting on the 12th fret on the G string, a G, it's a G chord. We're just going to listen. We're going to play each note for 4 beats and see what it's telling you. Now do the same thing up. That sounds good. It's a little dissonant. Still dissonant, but works. Much better. That works too. Perfect fifth. So basically, each note has something that it needs to say, and it may sound out, and that's okay. I mean, again, as I think I stated earlier, basically there's no wrong notes. There's just notes that you didn't expect to come out. So anytime you have a wrong note, the right note is a half step away in either direction. And you can make a wrong note start to sound right. It's probably not sounding so out anymore. A lot of times you're going to find that those wrong sounding notes end up sounding really cool if you record yourself and you're playing a gig and you hit what you thought was a wrong note. Sometimes those notes are the ones that sound really cool. The wrong notes, I use that in quotes, are also notes that help create tension, and then moving to the right note is what helps in resolving that tension. Just like what I was just doing. Tension, release. Tension, release. Tension, still kind of tense, release. So that's something to think about when you're playing. What turns a wrong note into an actual wrong note is if you hit a couple wrong notes in a row and you don't get back to resolving it, or if you freak out and you stop playing. Those are things that will bring attention to yourself and make a wrong note a wrong note. So take this exercise and play it. Start really slow and just listen to each note, and you'll start to find that after a while, there's no notes that you need to be afraid of. And that is about it for this lesson. Once again, learnbassedtoday.com. My name's Casey. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you were able to take something away from this, and happy playing.